Namaste friends. Today we will take up a chart and see if the native can take up data science as a profession. Okay, so one can become a data analyst or a data scientist if the 10th cuspal sublord, because we are analyzing profession, we take a look at the 10th cuspal sublord. So 10th cuspal sublord here is Jupiter. Now I would give a little more importance to the houses first and then the planet itself. Let's see what is the planet Jupiter giving us. If you look at this, Jupiter is in the 8th house. It also owns 11 and 2. Jupiter is giving us the results of Rahu, which is the star lord. So we know that in KP, every planet will give the results of its star lord. So Rahu is in the 8th house. Now, there's one more thing that we need to remember here. Whenever we are analyzing Rahu and Ketu, we should also have a look at the sign lord. So, in this case, Rahu is in the sign of Venus. So, we are going to get results of 7, 3, and 4 as well. Now, to understand whether Jupiter is going to give us the results of particular house, meaning let's look for the promise, what we refer to as promise. If I look at the promise, I have to look at the sublord for Jupiter, which is giving me 5 and 8. Now there are certain houses which play a very important role when it comes to a data scientist. The first one is the third house. Third house is important because third house deals with data, right, or any kind of an online activity. Then, of course, eighth house is very important because eighth house deals with any kind of research activity or even analyzing something in depth. Right now, sometimes you may not get the eighth house, you might see the 12th house. 12th house can also play an important role. So, it could be either 3 and 8 or 3 and 12. Sometimes you might actually see 3, 8, 12 as a combination which is given by the planet, which is the 10th CSL. Now 12th house also represents research. 12th house is also intuition, and most of these people actually would like to work in isolation. So 12th house can also represent isolation. Although they are working with data, probably they are working as an individual and then they present it to the team or management, however. But as far as the work is concerned, they are isolated. So 12th house can also represent isolation. Now, apart from this, there are a couple of houses which can definitely help. Maybe it's like an add-on support. So fifth house plays an important role because fifth house talks about solutions. Fifth house represents our creativity and intellect. And you can also consider 11th house because 11th house, anything that gets connected with 11 indicates growth, indicates gains. So if you have a combination of 3 plus 8 or 3 plus 12 along with 5 and 11, for example, all these combinations can definitely tell you that the native can consider data science or data analysis as a career. Of course, the sublord for the 10th CSL has to give you some kind of confirmation. Now, since we already saw what Jupiter and Rahu are giving, Mercury has to give us some kind of confirmation. So we can see that Mercury is actually giving us 5 and 8. So you can definitely say that this native can pursue a career in data science. Now, having said that, we only saw that the houses are important, but the planet also plays a role. Now, if it is Jupiter, Jupiter represents our insights. It is also a planet which gives us knowledge. So these planets can add more value to whatever you're doing. So Jupiter, as we saw, represents insights. Now, if it is Mercury, meaning if the 10th CSL is Mercury, Mercury naturally signifies numbers, stats. Mercury is also a representation of our intellect. So it's as good as having the fifth house. Even if 5 is not available here, if it is Mercury, meaning the 10th CSL is Mercury, which is giving you 3 and 8, it is also a brilliant combination. Now, apart from that, let's say if it is Rahu, if 10 CSL is Rahu is basically an out of the box thinker. So this can also come in very handy for a data analyst. So if you have 10 data analysts in a team, the person who has a 10th CSL as Rahu will definitely throw ideas which the other 9 probably won't even think about. So Rahu will help you analyze dimensions which others can't uh, think of. And if 10th CSL is Ketu naturally represents research. Ketu looks for anything hidden. So when you are a data scientist, you are basically trying to dig deeper and bring out what others cannot see. Any planet for that matter, if it is not the planets that we discussed right now, if it is some other planet, let's say for example it is Sun, the way you can balance this planet is by getting into an industry or a vertical which is represented by the planet itself. Say for instance 10 CSL is Moon also represents our mind, but for somebody where Moon is giving 3 and 8, if they get into the food industry or the hospitality industry as a vertical, they will do extremely well. Otherwise, what happens is, even if uh, they are not doing data analysis, eighth house is a problem creator. So instead, the way you can balance the planet is by picking a vertical and working in that particular industry segment. So that way, 3 plus 8 plus whatever is the planet, if you pick that vertical, you will do extremely well. And yes, 5 and 11 are definitely going to make it much better. So I hope you have understood the concept of how you can analyze if someone can get into data science and pick that as a career. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.